All right. So today I'm going to walk you through some examples from a real project that I have recently completed using Canva assets and put into 7Taps. And then I'm going to walk you through a demonstration of 2 or 3, depending on how much time we have, of the customized card types that I've created and used within 7Taps. So first, I'm going to give you a little bit of a brief summary of myself and my work. I'm from Alabama in the South, if you couldn't tell from my accent. I was a high school teacher for over 15 years. I taught high school English and Spanish. I was also a yearbook sponsor. And now I own a small business where I create custom classroom resources for teachers. And I work as a learning designer for Big Brothers Big Sisters of America. And with that, I have to give a little bit of a shout out to that amazing organization. If you're not familiar, I encourage you to look us up, bebignow.org. Big Brothers Big Sisters of America, we are the nation's largest volunteer-supported mentoring organization. And we are coming up on our 120th birthday this year. So really proud of that. And you may have a local agency near you. There are over 230 spread across the USA in all 50 states. And one fact that you might find interesting is that right now we have over 30,000 young people on our wait list that are waiting for a mentor like you. So you can make a difference in the life of one of those young people just by spending some time being a supportive presence in their life. So I encourage you to visit this QR code or go to bebignow.org to learn about the program and the agency closest to you. Okay, moving on. As you may know, if you're familiar with 7Taps, the platform has a lot of built-in ways that you can really customize your courses and use a variety of different types of content. But sometimes you may want to push a little bit beyond what's available natively in 7Taps and use some externally built things. And I use a lot of different tools to do this, but I find that Canva is just universally the easiest to learn. It's very user-friendly. And bonus, a lot of things can be done with a completely free account. Of course, the paid accounts are going to get you more functionality, but a lot of things you can do for completely free. So I encourage you to get Canva and play around with it. A couple of little points. I have to say, I am not sponsored by or affiliated with Canva in any way. They don't know I exist. I'm just a fan, just like I'm a fan of 7Taps and I'm a frequent user of their product. I have been all the way since I was teaching. And also these slides that I'm sharing, as well as more detailed instructions about the things I'm going to show you, and some pre-made, pre-sized samples that I've created for you to play around with in Canva, are all going to be shared after the presentation. So look out for that. And also, as I was creating the samples for you to try to play around with, I made sure to only use assets that are free in Canva. So everything in that is able to be used with a free account. And then I know with this audience, I'm sure this goes without saying, but I feel like I just should acknowledge that just because a learning experience is consistently branded and pretty, so to speak, that doesn't automatically make it a high quality learning experience. You can have the most beautiful slides in the world, but if your courses aren't meeting the desired learning or performance outcomes, the aesthetics don't really matter. So visuals can enhance your content. It can engage your learners because people just naturally want to look at things that look nice. And it provides a lot of visual variety, hierarchy in your content, things like that. But just keep in mind that the overall learning approach has to be rooted in good learning design, first of all. Okay, now to demonstrate some of these techniques, I'm going to show you an actual project that we've just launched at Big Brothers Big Sisters of America called the Mental Health Champion Challenge. So this is a series of 5 microlearning courses that help to teach caring adults how to recognize and respond to signs of a mental health challenge in a young person. Our audience is our volunteer bigs that work with our youth, staff across the country, but also really anybody that interacts with youth. And because this content is so important, we really wanted to use a delivery method that was completely easy and barrier-free for our learners. And so that's where 7Taps came in. We realized that this is really the best method for us to get our work, to get these courses out, because nobody has to log into anything. Nobody has to remember any passwords. It's extremely mobile friendly, and it really meets that learner where they are. So we are sending this series of 5 courses out as a 7Taps learning path. If you are unfamiliar with 7Taps learning paths, I encourage you to really look into that, because it's a wonderful, super easy way to launch a spaced learning campaign to your learners. So for our courses here, our learners will sign up for this challenge. We will collect their email addresses, and then I set up a learning path, and starting on a specified date every month, learners will receive 1 mini course per day over the course of 5 days. And that's the 5-day challenge. And another great thing about 7Taps is, since I'm sending them out via email, I can track things. I can track user data, responses, completion rates, all of those great things. So as you see in my examples here, this course contains multiple different types of content. We've got text cards, animated GIFs, videos, which I'm not going to show a video today because I didn't make that in Canva. I used Adobe After Effects, but it is a great thing to know that you can create an external video in something like Adobe, and it plays really nicely and integrates really well in 7Taps. As long as the aspect ratio and the file size is right, it works really well. Also have quiz and poll questions, some audio clips, and every single day at the end of the course, a daily reflection and an action step. So it's something that the learner can do that day. So I'm going to show you some examples of some cards that I created in Canva. The first one is going to be about how to make a custom background image. And then I'm going to jump over and actually walk you through the creation process, and you're going to help me out with that a little bit. So let me talk about, well, actually, Christopher, will you go ahead and launch that poll?
I absolutely will.
Or what was I supposed to say? Show that poll.
There you go. You got it. All right.
So we're going to do a little bit of a live demonstration of how incredibly simple and fast and easy it is to make a custom background image in Canva that you can use in 7Taps. So help me pick a theme. Do we want to do cats? Maybe it's a training for employees at a cat cafe. You know, it's a little silly and fun. Maybe it's corporate, something a little bit more buttoned up and professional looking. Or maybe it's nature, something, maybe a course about flower arranging, or employees at a garden center, something like that.
Nature is definitely crushing it right now, just so
you know. I won't tell you which one I hoped for, but they're all 3 are good. All right, let's give it about 5 more seconds, and then.
All right. Well, it's stick
crowd once.
Nature is definitely holding a strong lead at around 50%.
Let's go with that. Perfect. All right. So let me talk a little bit about these, and then I will jump over and show you how to easily create a nature-related background card. So as you know, you can choose in 7Taps from a lot of stock images and GIFs and things like that. You can make them full screen. You can have just the top of the screen, just the bottom of the screen, things like that. But I find that creating my own custom full screen background image really gives me the ability to sort of overlay the built-in features of 7Taps, like text, quizzes, and polls, but I'm still able to maintain the branding and the look and feel of my courses and have a more consistent look. So here are some examples. The 2 on the left are the text-based cards. So as you can see, the 2 on the left, I was really careful to only put design elements at the top and the bottom of these slides. You really want to be mindful of how much text you're putting onto those cards, and ensure that the content really remains the focus and that it doesn't get covered up by any of your designs. Because on a text card, your 7Taps will vertically center the text. And so again, you just want to make sure that you're not covering up the text at all, that you're not, you know, your content shouldn't be competing with your design elements. And also keep in mind, and as you'll notice here, when you do add text on top of a background image, 7Taps is going to automatically dim out your content or kind of put a shadow on it. For now, that's the way it is. Although I hear that that may be changing slightly soon, so stay tuned for that. But it's automatically going to dim your content out. So just be aware that your content should be the main focus. But for on the right-hand side, for quizzes, forms, poll cards, things like that, the text is naturally going to be up at the top of the card. So for those, I don't put anything at the top. I just do very minimal elements just at the very, very bottom. Okay, so with that said, let's make a nature card. And let me show you how easy this is. So first, I'm just very quickly going to show you these instructions. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this slide. This is really for you to refer back to afterwards when you do get these slides. But as you can see, there is a custom size to fit nicely with a 7-taps card, and it's 720 by 1200 pixels. So to do this in Canva, I'm going to come up to the little plus mark here, and I'm going to create a custom size. And look at that. It's magical. It's already 720
It's
by 1200
almost like you
pixels.
planned that.
It's almost like I use this size all the time. Yes. So I'm going to create a new design. And as you see, it looks a lot like a 7-taps card in size. I've got some templates here, but I'm going to go over to the Elements tab. This is where I'm going to locate my shapes, graphics. There's even an AI generator, image generator, stickers, photos, videos, charts, you name it. So Canva's got it. All right. First thing I would like to do is set a background color. So I'm just going to click on the background. And you see when I click on the background, this color picker pops up right here. So I'm going to click that. And I think I'm just going to make it this like pretty light blue here. That kind of looks, you know, nice and feminine, or floral, I guess I should say. And then for this, I'm going to pick this little floral aspect here. And again, it's almost like I planned this and have it in my ready recently used.
I was going to say, how convenient you have nature stuff on here.
I know. Now, I could have typed in, as you can see, the things that I searched for. I could have searched for nature border, and that's where I found this. But look, when I do it like that, these flowers here in the middle, that's not going to work for me. Remember, I needed to keep things at just the top and just the bottom. So I'm just going to go, well, first I'm going to duplicate this. So I'm going to click Command D. I'm on a Mac, or Control D on a Windows, and I'm just going to kind of move it out of the way for now. And then this one right here, I'm going to come up to crop. So I'm going to crop this part out. I don't really want that. I just want the bottom. Okay. And now that I've done that, I'm going to put this here, and I think I'm going to flip it. I'm going to flip it vertically, and I'm going to flip it horizontally. And for some reason, it's not letting me crop. So let me try that again. Let me duplicate here. I'm just going to flip this around. Now, obviously, if I was really creating a course, I would spend a lot more time making this perfect. But just for our purposes here, no, I like it like that. So just got a little border there going on. And maybe my text here is only going to be a few sentences, so I know that it's not going to be obscured by these designs. And that's all I have to do. So now my next step is I want to save this. And so the best way to save this, I'm going to go to Share and then Download. As you see here, I have several different file types that I can choose. I'm just going to stick with PNG. I don't need it to be a transparent background because I want that blue color to show. And then I'm going to leave the size alone. And I'm just going to click Download, save it on my computer. And then when I come over into 7-taps, I'll make it my background image. All right. Easy peasy. Yeah. All right. So let me jump back over to my presentation. And again, I know I just ran through that pretty quickly, but we have a time limit here. So, so the next thing is really my favorite, is making your own animated GIF. And hopefully in a second, these things will move. Yeah, there they go. So of course, we love the funny, humorous animated GIFs that are in 7-taps, but sometimes you want something that's custom, that has some movement to it, but that still matches your theme, your look and feel. So let me find my notes here. Sorry. These things are great. They create a lot of visual interest. It really helps you create some hierarchy in your content. Like, for example, if you want to just really highlight something that's particularly important content for your learners that you want to be extra impactful, signify a change in section, something like that. Just a little bit of movement like this really can make a difference. Creating this in Canva is so easy. So let me show you how. And again, you will have these slides afterwards. So you'll have all of these instructions and some samples. So I'm going to use this same nature card that we created a minute ago. But since now I am not wanting to overlay 7 Taps text or quiz or poll or anything on top, this is just going to be a standalone thing. I'm going to add some text of my own by clicking text over here on the left and clicking add a text box. Alternatively, I could just hit the letter T on my keyboard and a text box will come up. And let's just say this is going to be flower arranging 101. I'm going to make this bigger. I'm going to make it pull this in so it's a few lines. I'm going to center it, and it's got these nice little snap grids here that make sure it's perfectly centered. I'm just very quickly going to pick a font. Let's use that one. And I think these lines are a little bit too far apart. So another cool tool is you can come up to this spacing bar and just decrease the line spacing a little bit. And then I'm going to change the color of the text. Let's make it maybe that color, because maybe that's my brand color and I want to stick with that. And that's all I'm going to add to it in the interest of time. But if I want to make this move and make it really pop, I could go to each individual asset, click it, and then now you see that that's selected. A whole bunch of options come up for me. So I can click animate and animate them individually. But you know, why do that when Canva will do it for me? So I'm going to click the background and then I'm going to click the animate. And now it gives me a whole bunch of page animation combinations that are just kind of already done. I can hover over it. Here's what simple looks like. Here's what sleek looks like. Here's fun, stuff like that. So I'm just going to pick sleek and stick with that. That's all I had to do. So I'm going to come up here again to share. But now instead of it being a PNG, I need it to be a GIF. So I will pick that as the file type at the bottom. And yes, you can do this with the free account. Keep the size the same and download it. That's all I have to do. Now when I go to 7 Taps and make that my image on my 7 Taps card, it will move for me. One other little thing I want to say is you notice when I have this selected, there's a little bit of a time indicator here. This says 5 seconds. That means this slide's going to last 5 seconds. So that means every 5 seconds, the GIF is going to move again and again and again. And I think that's too much movement on a microlearning course. So I like to select the background and just bump the timing way up so that when the learner lands on that card, it's going to move that one time and then it's not going to move again until they've moved on to the next card, if that makes sense. All right. So I will just very briefly show you that in the slides that you will receive. I know we don't have time to walk through another one. I'll also give you the dimensions and directions for how to do this with a half-page image if you just want to put one at the very top or the very bottom of the card. And as you see here, 7 Taps lets you adjust the size of that half-page image to fit your content just the way you need to. That's also another great option. The process is exactly the same. You could even make your own half-page GIF like this. The process is the same, just the canvas size is different. So if you would like to scan this, again, you will receive it afterwards, but this is going to take you to that sample thing that I talked about that's already pre-built for you with some more instructions that you can play around with. You all using free assets. You will have to sign up for a Canva account to use this, but again, you can do all of this with a free account. So I hope that this helped you jazz up your microlearning a little bit.
Blair, thank you so much. And everybody, based on the comments and all this, can we give Blair a huge round of emojis on this? I absolutely loved it. 2 things I would just say. First of all, one, listening to you talk through that, I just want to go into the kitchen and get myself a glass of sweet tea. So you know what?
I have my sweet tea right here.
That's immediately what came to mind. But secondly, I love, first of all, one, you are a phenomenal designer. Just let me say that. You have a very good eye for design. But I just love the way you brought and made this practical. And I love the fact that you illustrated earlier, you just highlighted the fact that while visuals will not make up for a crappy course,
Absolutely.
They certainly can distract. Bad visuals can absolutely detract from a wonderful course. And that's
Yes.
a really important design principle, I think, for everyone. And that's where these tools like this are so phenomenal, because we all know how you can have a great course, but when you have those presentations where, it looks like it's from 1980 or something like that, like people are so distracted with the, like, why is there the ugly smiley face with the,
And it's distorted.
anamorphic? And you're like, you don't want people doing that. Now, granted, I think yours are far beyond just, hey, it's not a distraction. Truly phenomenal design. And I love the tutorials on even just helping people think differently about it in terms of creating the GIFs and being able to say, hey, you can create these animations and incorporate it. So thank you so much for that. That was a wonderful presentation. And yes, the slides will be available afterwards with all the instructions. Blair, thank you for taking the time to put all that together and actually put together the instructional content on that. So let's do one more final round of emojis for Blair. Thank you so much. And I'll let you enjoy your sweet tea in the background as we transition to our final guest. Thanks again, Blair. So I will send you backstage